To order, please.
Don't get to the mic this time.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the final review this afternoon. Certainly want to thank you for being here and participating with your questions. But I would ask that you turn off your cell phones, listening devices, so that we can proceed without being impeded. This time I would ask Ms. Erica Sherrod to call the roll.
Mr. Paul Oquan,
Here.
Mr. Andre Kudran,
Here.
Mr. David Guidry,
Here.
Mr. Gerald Hebert,
Here.
Ms. Renee Laparolari,
Here.
Mr. John Lombardo,
Here.
Mr. Jimmy Long, Dr. Neil Maroney,
Here.
Mr. Wayne Parker,
Here.
Mr. Winfred Seville,
Here.
Dr. Randy Moffitt, Mr. Brian Glorioso,
Here.
Ms. Susan Hess, Mr. John Minio,
Here.
Mr. Gary Solomon. We have a quorum.
Thank you. And now we'll introduce the search committee, starting at my right.
I'm Brian Glorioso, President of the UNO Alumni Association.
I'm John Minio, Student Government President of the University of New Orleans and student member to the Board of Regents.
Good afternoon. My name is Paul Oquan. I'm a member of the Board of Supervisors.
Hi again, I'm Andre Kudrang from Hammond, a member of the Board of Supervisors.
Renee Laparolari, member of the Board of Supervisors for 2nd Congressional District.
Wayne Parker, member of the Board of Supervisors.
Randy Moffitt, the University of Louisiana System.
Wynn Seville, member of the Board of Supervisors.
E. Gerald T-Boy Hebert, Indigenous Cajun, Kenna, K-E-N-N-A, Louisiana. I'm still working on my bachelor's degree, and I'm just so glad to be here. Thank you.
David Guidry, member of the Board of Supervisors.
Hello again, John Lombardo. I'm Nicholls State Student Government President and Student Board Member to the UL system.
I'm Dr. Neil Maroney, UNO Faculty Representative.
I'm Susan Hess. I am a longtime member of the UNO Foundation and a graduate of UNO, and I am a non-voting member of this council.
Gary Solomon, the UNO graduate and a board member of the UNO Foundation.
Under the rules, the president of the board conducts the search committee meetings. Dr. Moffitt.
Thank you, Mr. Seville. Again, thanks to all of you for being here. As I said in the other meeting, some of you are familiar faces. I just told someone we were going to charge him admission. He showed up at every meeting. Stand up back there in that UNO sweatshirt. I want you to stand up so everybody can see it. I have a very deep belief that if you do not wave your colors and wear your colors, no one else will. So I'm glad you're here in that sweatshirt. This afternoon, we complete the last of our 4 interviews of semi-finalists. I would remind you that after the search committee has concluded their questions, as we have in all the others, we'll entertain some questions from the members of the audience, and we have some student representatives in different places here with some cards. If you'd like to, please complete a card with your question. We do ask that you sign it so we have that for public record. Of course, we are interviewing in just a few minutes Dr. Wartell, the last of our semi-finalists. I would also remind you that tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, we will reconvene the search committee in this room, and before the search committee begins its deliberations to select 2 more finalists to be interviewed by the Board of Supervisors at their meeting next week on December the 9th, we will entertain public comments where you'll have an opportunity to give us feedback about everything from the process to, more importantly, your thoughts on the persons that we have interviewed. We again want to thank you for your participation. It's been I think a very positive week for us. It's given us a greater opportunity to become acquainted with the UNO community, and I want to say again on behalf of our board how pleased we are that the University of New Orleans, we hope, will be officially part of our system come Monday afternoon with the Southern Association approval. And if we don't get approval, we're going to blame it on all of you at UNO. So, no, I'm just kidding. We are very optimistic, and we are very, very, very pleased to have UNO becoming a part of the University of Louisiana system. I'd also remind you that as we have throughout the process, if you have any questions or comments, process, et cetera, we have a website, UNO Presidential Search at louisiana.gov. With that said, we'd like to begin the afternoon session with our fourth semi-finalist, and at this time, I'd like to introduce Dr. Michael Wartell. Dr. Wartell has, as all of our candidates, has been through a series of meetings with various individuals on our campus. I believe Dr. Wartell is going to join us. Dr. O'Hara, is there something I don't know, Dr. O'Hara?
No.
No, I'm just kidding.
Here we are.
There we go. Sometimes we don't have all of our cues lined up just right. We are very pleased to have with us Dr. Michael Wartell. Dr. Wartell received his BS in chemistry from the University of New Mexico and an MS and PhD in physical chemistry from Yale University. He has been chancellor at Indiana University, Purdue University, Fort Wayne campus since 1994. He previously served as vice chancellor for academic affairs and professor of chemistry. He has also served as department manager for Sandia Laboratories in New Mexico and was provost and vice president for academic affairs at Humboldt State University in Arcata, California, as well as the dean of the College of Letters and Sciences and professor of chemistry at James Madison University in Harrisonburg, Virginia. Dr. Wartell has also served on the U.S. Army Science Board, working on such subjects as chemical warfare, manpower and logistics, and decontamination. He has been a member of the Defense Science Board and chair of the Defense Intelligence Agency Science and Technology Advisory Board. That's quite a mouthful, Dr. Wartell. A consultant to government agencies and defense contractors, Dr. Wartell is the author or co-author of 5 textbooks, laboratory manuals, study guides, and numerous scholarly papers. Dr. Wartell, on behalf of our search committee and the University of New Orleans, we welcome you to UNO and to New Orleans, and we're also very pleased that you're joined by your wife, Ruth, this afternoon. Dr. Wartell, would you like to make any opening comments?
Just that it's a pleasure to be here. Ruth and I have certainly had a stimulating visit, and we look forward to your questions.
Great. Well, we'll begin that process, and our first question is by Mr. Parker.
Thank you. Welcome, Dr. Wartell.
Thank you.
Ruth, we appreciate your interest in this position. The first question is, what do you perceive the role of the president to be, and what skills, and we would ask that you emphasize this part of the question, the skills do you have that clearly demonstrate that you could be successful in this job?
Well, I see the role of the president as really threefold. Garner resources for the institution, to ensure that those resources are used well, and to serve as a role model and face of the university. And that includes interacting with the community, both internally and externally. That's the role that I've played for 18 years, well, almost 18 years, at Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne. And I see here a university that can interact in a much more fulsome way with the community, as well as in a much more collaborative way with its own internal community. And I've been successful at doing that with IPFW, and I believe I can be successful here.
Good. Thank you. Our next question is from Mr. Long.
Thank you, Dr. Moffitt. Dr. Wartell, Ms. Wartell, it's good to have you with us. I have a question relative to innovative programs. With reference and respect to innovative programs, what innovative programs did you help create at your previous institutions, and how did you go about identifying the needs for those particular programs?
Well, we have prided ourselves on being at IPFW the first to do many things within Indiana as a regional campus. We were the first regional campus to have housing on campus. We were the first regional campus to have Division I athletics. We were the first regional campus before my time, and just to show you the pride in this sort of thing, to have automated enrollment. So IPFW has been on the forefront of doing new and innovative things for a long time. In terms of assessing the need, the whole community, that is the whole university community, as well as the external community, in terms of housing, for example, was consulted in order to determine whether we should have housing. And actually, I'm cheating a little bit because the community had wanted housing for a really long time, and proved that by providing about $3 million in initial funding for us to begin housing. That was certainly innovative within Indiana. The other sets of programs that I look at as innovative, especially with respect to our campus, are a set of student support programs that I think are as good or better than any in the country for students in need of extra help.
Thank you. Our next question comes from Susan Hess.
Welcome, Dr. and Mrs. Wartell. Excuse me. You've already kind of mentioned this a little bit, but I'd like to know a little bit more about your thoughts as far as outreach to the external community, to business, to nonprofits and legislators, whatever. And I'd just like to know a little bit more about your thoughts in that direction.
Well, state-supported institutions like UNO, especially regional institutions, have service areas, and in this case, it's the New Orleans community, and it should be, and by rights ought to be, an important aspect of what the university mission is. To support the community, whether it's culturally, educationally, socially, economically, all of those things are incredibly important, and that's true for any regional university. And in terms of economic development, we should be a part of, an integral part of the fabric of the economic development machine that exists in New Orleans. Culturally, we ought to be part of that as well. And socially, if you look at the kinds of things that we've done at IPFW, you can't find a nonprofit organization that doesn't have an IPFW faculty or staff or administrative member on their boards. We intend to be central to those efforts.
Okay, our next question is from Brian Glorioso.
Dr. Wartell, what would be your vision of UNO as an urban research institution, and what would you do to implement that vision as your initial steps?
Well, one of the attractive aspects of UNO is the fact that it has doctoral programs in the first place, and a lot of regional universities really don't have that advantage. In terms of the interaction with the urban community, the focus of that research, at least part of that research, should be the needs of the greater New Orleans community, and that can be a real linchpin in the reputation of the university, because you have a natural laboratory here, and the kind of support that you can get in order to do that research and the national models that you can develop, I think are critical to that reputation.
Okay, our next question is from Mr. Hebert.
Welcome, Dr. Wartell and Ms. Wartell. The world is in an economic downturn, and we're all subject to this downturn. I'm a businessman. I'm feeling it. I think the state surely is feeling it, and we're also rebuilding UNO into a great institution, the great institution that it is. In your area of expertise, sir, explain how you would review academic programs to ensure quality and relevance, as well as a need and aligned with an institutional mission.